Welcome to Clydesdale Media. Fueled by C4, Cellucor, and Extend. Use the code Clydesdale to get 20% off at checkout at c4energy.com. The 2023 season series with some amazing athletes. Make sure you like and subscribe to the channel. Hit that notifier so you're first to know when new episodes are available.
Hello, welcome everybody. Today we have with us the fittest 40 to 44-year-old masters male with your wife, Lynette. We've got Rudy and Lynette here. So 2022 fittest in the masters division and number one on the leaderboard for quarterfinals.
Yes. Unofficial, but we are.
Yes, unofficial, correct, yes. But I looked at the points differentials. I think you got a pretty solid hold right there.
Yes.
Yeah.
Thank you. Thanks for having us. Really appreciate it.
Yeah. So first and foremost, I want to know, how does your body feel now?
Yeah. So Monday I was pretty sore, honestly. Legs were the worst part. So took a day off on Monday, had a rest day, and then Tuesday back at it. So
one rest day. Wow.
Yeah, semifinals are coming. So it's we leave good recovery time in during training during the week anyways. So I can get away with one recovery day and then back into it. Yeah.
And it was a kind of ease into it. It was a zone 2, nothing, like we didn't load the body really. So it was start moving, but listen to your body kind of day.
Yes. Yeah. And I had the opportunity to watch you complete workout number 4, and we'll get to that, but I want to make sure that, I want to kind of talk about like the whole recap. Like when the workouts were first released, it was like, I remember it was released like 2 minutes early too, because I was like, waiting for it. Okay, here it is. Let's go.
Yeah.
How did you guys strategize when you were going to do which workouts?
Yeah, so we kind of went through it's kind of a normal process now. We've been through this a few times. I get a big whiteboard and I write out all the workouts. We talk about interference between the 4 different workouts. We talk about, these two are due on the first day, these two on the next day. And we kind of we reverse roles and play devil's advocate, just saying, what if we did this? What if we, did 2 in the first day, and just kind of went down all those different scenarios just to make sure we were thinking of all potential options to maximize performance.
Yeah, we literally had 4 pieces of paper. One, each had a different workout, and we could just kept swapping them. And then we're like, no, that's not going to work. No. And so we kind of agreed after some debate on the order.
Yeah. We ended up going with the
1, 2, 3, 4.
Yeah. The order
we did them in the order.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Yeah. And I know you're very data driven on this. So do you ever just in general, do you ever have a plan of how the workouts, have it planned out in your mind, and then you get in there and then totally abandon your plan and say, I'm feeling kind of good, I'm going to go for it? So
because we work together so much as a team, it's hard for me to do that because I don't want to do that to her. Because she's like, oh my gosh, we're going off script, we're going off the plan. But we've gotten better over time of how to be able to go to a plan B and not be razzled, not be frustrated with it. So I would say typically we can stick to plan A, but when we go to plan B, it's much easier now.
Yeah. And we are very well aligned on plans A through F.
Yes.
So for the most part, we are very intentional. We have been very intentional over the last, I would say, since the off season, to try to be a little bit more risk taking, because we both tend to adhere too much to the data side of things. And then, we never want to leave a workout feeling like we had more in the tank. So that's kind of our counterbalance to make sure that we're not being too safe.
Yeah.
Sure.
Can I ask a quick follow-up to that? One of the discussions we had with Jamie over the weekend is she knew what her home runs were on the weekend, and those workouts she had to leave absolutely nothing in the tank. because that's where she had to make up ground. And there might have been other workouts where it's more damage control and you don't want to do that. Do you go? Does that go through your thought process as well?
Absolutely.
Yeah, it
Yep.
absolutely does.
Yep.
And that's, when we look at the order of the workouts of how we want to do them, we're very data driven, and, we're want to do things correctly. But Lynette always pauses and says, okay, what are you most confident in? What is going to give you confidence so that when you knock out this first workout, you'll go on to the next one with momentum and with confidence. So, that is another thing we throw in to make sure we have the order right from a confidence perspective. Because once you smash some workouts, it gives you momentum, and you can really get some energy off of that.
For sure.
Yeah, and the flip side, when it doesn't go the way you want it to, then you got to figure out how to regroup.
You use that momentum to hit the next one harder.
Yeah.
Either way, it's gonna generate action.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. So let's talk about the first workout then. So that was a 20-minute cap workout, which you didn't need at all since you finished that one. And what was it? 8 minutes and 40 seconds. Yep. So that was the 3 rounds, and it was 2 by 25 walking lunges, 20 toes to bar, and then the 2 rounds, 2 by 25 front rack walking lunge, 15 chest to bar, followed by the 2 by 25 overhead walking lunge, and then the 10 bar muscle ups. How did you break up your toes to bar?
Yeah. So we started with larger sets. I think maybe a little larger than they had to be, or they should have been, just because by the 3rd set of the toes to bar, I started to feel grip fatigue already, which surprised me. And I was like, oh boy, we're only, 3 out of the 6 rounds into this workout. I need to start breaking more. So that 3rd set of toes to bar, I went to, I think 3 or a set of 2 and then a set of 3 for the final reps, which is pretty small sets.
Yeah.
Just to try to salvage that grip, because it was like, oh boy, red flags, grip's going.
It's a lot of grip too. Yeah, for that.
A lot. Yeah.
And then what about for your chest to bar and your bar muscle ups?
Yeah. So for the chest to bar, I think I broke them in half, like 8-7. And then I think the second set was a little less than that, like sets of 5 or something like that. So I was able to hold on to grip a little bit. The bar muscle ups, I got up there and my arms and my body felt great. And I went up, and I think I did like the 3rd one, and my grip was like, no, you're dropping. So I was able to cycle them quickly, because I was like, all right, my grip's gone, but my arms are still kind of fine. I just need to kip really hard. So I was able to do like a set of 3, another set of 3, and then a set of 2 and 2. So it was really small sets. But my break was really quick, and so I was able to keep that frequency just to kind of salvage my time.
We remember the earlier comment of going off script.
Yeah, that's right. That's why I'm always wondering, like, because I'll make a plan and then I'm like, man, I feel good. I'll just do a bigger set. I'll be fine. And then I'm like, that was.
And then 2 sets later, you're like, that was a bad choice.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. So Jamie's asking, did you have any breaks on your lunges?
No, I didn't. Yeah, I just went right through those. On the what is it, the second set, which is like the front rack, they called it. I went down with like a certain strategy where they're kind of like behind my shoulders, and then the set of 25 feet coming back, I found putting them on my shoulders was kind of awkward, so I just kind of put them into a front rack, because I was like, you know what, let's just go front rack. I don't want to mess with putting them on my shoulders. So I did slightly different variations, just kind of break it up.
Yeah. And that was the workout. So I did that workout Friday night as well. And then Saturday I woke up and I was like, I mean, I'm always sore after lunges, but I really have not been that sore in a long time from lunges.
He was sore too.
That eve, because we did it Friday night, and that evening I remember sitting on the lacrosse ball on my glutes for 10 minutes or so on each side. Then I had a Theragun out, and I'm like, these things are, I thought I'd done heavy lunges and I got them, but like it surprised me. It absolutely did. Yeah.
Totally. So then we move into the next workouts. And did you do that then Saturday morning workout number 2? Okay. Right. So that was the 10-minute one where it was 6 chest wall facing handstand push-ups, the 9 GHD, 12 box jumps, and then right into 5 minutes of 1 rep max clean.
Yeah.
Have you ever trained chest to wall facing handstand push-ups prior?
Yeah. I mean,
Okay.
right after after the games, we started trying them, and it was interesting because at the games they did like the deficit, and so we thought that was how you did it. So we started with deficit.
But note to that, like when we say we started, it doesn't mean that we did them a lot. We just said let's try this and see how it feels.
Probably once a week, maybe.
Not that often.
She does the training.
No,
I mean,
definitely not.
Once a week. So
no, but it was one of those things that we're like, we'll see how those feel. And for him, it didn't feel that much different than a regular handstand push-up.
Yeah,
which kind of helped it de-escalate a little bit from my high alert, like, do we have to train this to the ground? And it was one of those things that we have to rotate every once in a while. But at the same time, I'm very focused on staying healthy and not overworking the shoulders. So, we kind of, once they showed up on the individuals quarterfinal, then we said, all right,
this is going to be in there. Yeah. Oh, I don't even know how many rounds you got, but you got like 236 reps. How many rounds is that?
That's 8 rounds. And he got 5 box jumps.
Yep.
So you had to do those unbroken. So your handstand push-ups were unbroken then.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I'm assuming. Okay. Yeah. They had to be.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So Jamie's asking, oh, you got it?
Yeah, I was just gonna say, Jamie was curious about with the little data of the wall facing handstand push-ups. How did you plan and pace for that one?
I felt like they weren't too bad, just the 6. And plan A was just to do all 6 of them as quick as I could, and it held up. So we remained with plan A.
And like I said earlier, for him specifically, they didn't feel significantly harder than a regular handstand push-up. So we use that to say, obviously over volume and time, they're going to start breaking down a little bit. But given that it was only a 10-minute workout, we felt pretty confident that going unbroken was going to hold.
Yeah. And I just saw a comment from Jamie about the 10-inch line. So the standard, that new standard that they introduced, that was different. And that took some getting used to. Because it's like you got a wall walk, and then when you're open up your hands and kind of get in position. So it was that was awkward.
And on that note, if you ever get a chance to see Rudy like overhead squat, his grip is narrower than the traditional, I would say, CrossFitter. So I think that benefit him in the new standard.
Yeah.
Lots of shoulder mobility, warm up.
Well, and that's about that 10-inch line. That's one of the things that surprised me too. And in my mind, when I was first looking, I'm like, wait, okay, my hands are here. I kept thinking my head had to touch the line, and I'm like, this is impossible. I'm not gonna.
You're gonna flip over.
Yeah.
Right. So finally, I regrouped and.
I have done those, and obviously my fitness level is not quite as, elite.
You get
but handstand push-ups happen to be one of my favorites. And I will say, I also feel like I have to think about, okay, your head doesn't have to touch the line when I'm upside down. And sometimes I feel like I am going to come off the wall.
Yeah.
So, but I do like them.
Yeah.
I think they're fun.
Yeah, it just felt for me, it was just like a totally different feel. It was almost, like an incline bench press versus push press or something, So then you go into your 1 rep max clean and you got 326.
Which is a 15-pound PR.
Yeah.
Okay, that's what I wanted to know, if that was a PR.
Yeah, that was a PR.
You need to tell them about my prediction though.
So we were sitting down writing out what numbers we were gonna hit. And she says to me, she's like, you're going to hit 325. And I'm like, you're nuts. I'm not going to hit 325. And
Tell you what, wives kind of just know that thing.
Wives, and with how much she sees me train and coach. It's she's on a different level.
So it was
so let me ask you this. Like, I was there for the open and the thruster. That 5 minutes went fast. And you had a plan and had to scrap it immediately because it took you a minute and a half to transition from the Metcon to the lift.
Yeah.
How did that go this time?
Much better.
Mhm.
The one in the open was such a fast pace and such a really hard push with the shuttles, and even
And
the
longer. It was 15 minutes.
Yeah, it was 15 minutes. And in those burpee pull-ups those are really taxing, more than I thought they were going to be. But with this one, these 10 minutes, the rep scheme was so short for each of the movements that you were just the most effort in this workout was the transitions between the equipment, getting into the GHD and out of it safely without falling on your face. That was like one of the big challenges. And so I actually pulled back slightly the pace on the box jumps just to preserve the legs a little bit. A little. I still went really fast.
Yeah.
But I was just more conscious of how I was doing those box jumps, just to smoke the legs. So it just felt that much better.
And it took him I think he hit his first clean at a minute 10 into that 5-minute period. And so we truly just planned for 4 lifts. The first one was just like, let's just warm up that range of motion with something moderately heavy.
Yep.
And then we wanted to land. I knew he was going to PR. Like, I just knew it. And so we were between like 316 would have been a PR. His previous max was 311.
Yep.
So he hit 316 at like 14:10. And we had like 50 seconds. And I'm like, all right, you have one more chance. And the way you did 316, I am confident you're going to do it.
Yeah.
And if we would have had 2 more minutes, he would have had like another 15 pounds on that lift. I don't know what he ate that morning. I don't know. But I knew it. I just knew that it was going to happen.
Yeah.
Well, first of all, I know you, Lynette, and I know what I know you know what he ate that morning.
Exactly.
Because you know everything. Second, Rudy, what does it mean when you look at her and she says, I know you have this? Like with unequivocally, I know you have this.
It's gotten to a point where when she says it, I believe her, because she's rarely been wrong. And I know she knows me more than myself, like an outside third party, that I trust what she says and I execute. And so, yeah, careful what you say.
And honestly, and he knows, like, I am not going to say something just to give him like fake confidence.
Right.
Like, obviously I believe, and I know that you have to be aspirational and have like stretch goals, but to put him under a heavy barbell, unless I know he can do it safely, I'm not going to encourage him to do it.
Yeah.
So things like that, I'm very strict about. Like, if it doesn't look like his form is holding, we're done. It's not worth risking.
Yeah.
So, but with the clean, I know that the way he stands up 275 looks the same as when he stands up 306. So I'm like, you have a lot more in the tank. We just have to, kind of uncover that capacity. And so that test gave us an opportunity, and it was really fun.
Yeah, it's great.
So how much did the crowd around you play into your PR as well?
They were freaking out.
They were freaking out. Yeah.
I'm sure.
It was really impressive. There's some folks there that actually haven't came to watch me before. Not that I keep track, but I recognize some folks. I'm like, they've never come to my workouts. And it was another excitement. And so they're just going nuts. And so this is funny or not funny. When we were doing a workout last year, it had snatches in it. When I'm doing a snatch is highly technical, and I actually want it quiet. And so I had to quiet the crowd one time. And so before workouts, Lynette addresses the crowd and says, hey, there's going to be a big lift. Just be quiet and look, just be quiet and cheer after he makes the lift, or if Rudy says go. So when we were doing the cleans, I hit the first clean. And after that second clean, before I even lifted, I started, getting the crowd going, and they responded, and it was wild.
Yeah. I will share a video with you guys soon, but it was cool. It was a fun celebration because he was so pumped. Yeah. So the whole shushing the crowd was last year during semis.
Yeah.
He was hitting a snatch ladder, and people get so invested and pumped. And he kept looking at me and he was like, guys, wait until I hit the lift. And so you could hear a pin drop. So now from that point on, I'm like, okay, remember guys, if you were here last year. So
Control
they
it,
wait
yeah.
until he kind of gives the okay.
It's a good problem to have when you've got it's unbelievable.
Yeah.
But yeah.
So what kind of recovery did you do between the second and third workout that day?
So got in the ice bath. We actually took my ice bath my trough to the gym and filled it and iced it just so right after workout I could get in, hang out there. So that was fun, getting in the ice bath and talking to people. I'm usually by myself, like in solitary.
That'll be a good one for Semi, Scott.
Yeah.
You can interview him while he's in the
ice
tub.
bath talk.
He likes company.
Definitely. Yeah. I'm like, hey, talk to me, please.
You should do it Kevin Hart style, where you can get in another one and talk to him.
There you go. Yeah.
Nobody asked for your input, Amy.
Okay.
Nobody asked for that input.
Yeah, we did an ice bath, and then fairly quickly we went home and ate a really good meal and just started. I had a liquid IV, started just rehydrating, get electrolytes and salts back in the body, and I started rolling the legs. I did the Theragun for a while, the lacrosse ball. I want to say I mobilized and stretched for a good hour just to get the legs worked out, because I knew the shuttle runs specifically the turning part of the shuttle runs was going to be very taxing on the legs. So we've learned with training that if you go really heavy on the legs, like in the earlier part of the day, and then when you return to do a workout and it's leg heavy, sometimes your legs don't hold up. So we did everything we could to hydrate and get the legs worked out. Yeah.
So then you move into the third workout, which many people have claimed to be a very boring workout.
Yeah, exactly.
Since it was a 30-minute cap, you didn't need that because you finished that one in 17:27.
Yep.
It started with the 50 shuttle runs, 7 rope climbs into the 25 bench press at 185, back to your 7 rope climbs, and ending with the shuttle runs. And I heard from talking to your daughter that during that you cramped up pretty bad on your shuttle runs.
Oh, wow.
The second set.
Yeah. So the second shuttle runs, I remember hitting 15 shuttle runs, and then right around somewhere between 15 and 20 in, I started getting, cramps in the top of my quads right above my knees. And I've had them there before. So I'm like, all right, if I limit my range of motion and start almost like a quick shuffle,
like a stiff-legged
run, I can, hold this off. And in my mind, I'm just like, hold on. I have to finish this run. And I kept it together and was able to finish. But right when I crossed that 50th run or the 50th shuttle, I hit the deck and I screamed, because it was like just I got 2 major Charlie horses. My legs just locked up and I'm on the ground and like in so much pain.
I've never heard him scream.
It was
that
insane.
way.
The only time I've ever done that before was I ran the Chicago Marathon in 2004.
Oh, yeah.
And that was how my legs felt at the end.
Oh my gosh.
So
with like
I have a quick Lynette question.
Okay.
So knowing Lynette, how many counters did you have for the shuttle run?
I had 2.
Just 2.
I had 2. And
Just
the
2.
joke is, like, if I pass out during this workout, somebody just take me out of the way and finish the workout. Then you worry about me. Like, just you keep counting.
Yeah.
But so side note, I count in Spanish. Like that's my first language.
Yeah.
So counting, I think in English in every other aspect of life except numbers for some reason. That's just like my brain just goes to Spanish. So I'm like, how am I going to count to 50 twice? It like out loud.
You count out loud to him? Okay.
Once in, yeah.
Yep.
So I was just like, my friend Brad, I'm like, you have to stand across from me. So like, if I give you the panic look, you just tell me what number, because I trust myself in English, but it's kind of like a high count.
Yeah.
Crazy.
But every time I did a tick mark, and then I just confirmed that I was in the right number.
Yeah.
But Yeah, when he hit 30, he started giving me this look, and I'm like, oh no, something, plan B just kicked in. Like,
Yes.
And I was like, there's nothing I can do. You have to keep running. Like,
Yeah.
But at the end, he was in a lot of pain.
Yeah.
But
Not fun.
hey, learned.
So how'd you do that bench press then?
So I broke it up quite a bit.
Okay.
Bench isn't the my strongest event, but I knew that, and I had a good strategy of what I broke it up to, and we went with the plan A.
Yeah.
So as far as
we knew
breaks,
that small sets was the way to go there for him.
Small sets, rest. Yeah.
Because that's one of those things. Like if you fail, like then there's nothing you can do other than wait.
No.
Like,
especially with rope climbs coming after that too. Not only are you going to hurt yourself during the bench, but you're not going to have a good time on the rope climbs either.
Yeah.
So you didn't look at the leaderboard at all that night, or did Lynette?
I asked. So
okay.
he was actually warming up for event 3.
Yeah.
And I refreshed the leaderboard.
Yeah.
Like it doesn't even make sense because I start refreshing at like 2:45 or I'm sorry, 3:45. So which I know nothing's gonna be there, but I just checked just in case. So I knew, and I said, do you want to know? And he's like, am I in the top 10? And I'm like, yes. And he's like, am I top 5? And I'm like, yes. He's like, what am I? I'm like, okay, I wasn't sure you wanted to know. so that was a fun little pump before that workout.
Definitely.
Yeah. So can you sleep well after a workout, those types of workouts, knowing that you're coming in the next day to hit the last one? And
no, I don't sleep that well.
But he sleeps better than I do.
I sleep better than her.
I still sleep worse.
She sleeps worse, but I don't sleep that well because it's just scenarios are playing out in your head, and you're just thinking about what possibly can happen. Did I do all my recovery protocols? Am I hydrated? And it's just like a cycle. Mm-hmm. So I do fall asleep eventually, but it's minimal. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So, and then I got to come Sunday when you did the last workout, which was a repeat of 15.5 of the 27, 21, 15, 9 row and thrusters. Mm-hmm. So something that really surprised me though, and I haven't gotten to watch you do the open, but I've seen you at the games. Do you not, you seemed so calm. Do you not get anxious or nervous right before you do a workout?
I hide it. I absolutely hide it. And really for my preparation, I need to get into a really a clear mental space and just think about the things that motivate me. And that helps with certain types of music. But I need to really get centered positively. And then that kind of gets me going and flowing. And then I can actually concentrate and think about what the movements are, what I should be doing. And, with the more experience I get and when we go through training, you just learn that confidence is a very big thing, and it can overcome, gaps. Mm-hmm. And so as I learned that I need to be more confident, start those workouts, and it's all about how focused I am. Mm-hmm. So, yeah.
Yeah. But Amy, your observation is right on. And it's one that other people have made too. That people said well, he looks like he's been doing this much longer than he has because he seems so calm and collected. Mm-hmm. And that's how he is on the competition floor, which is really cool because, I am able to kind of predict how he's feeling because he's never really flustered. And I think it helps when you transition from plan A to plan B. But I will say, earlier on, we had to be very intentional about that.
Yeah.
Because sometimes plan B, we had to work really hard at understanding that plan B isn't because you failed plan A.
Yeah.
It's because you just have to pivot to make the most out of the workout.
Yeah.
So once that kind of sunk in, then, it just feels better.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love that mindset. Mm-hmm. That it's not a failure, it's just a pivot. And that's what the sport's about. The sport is designed to make you pivot.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
So the better that you are adapted to that, the better you're going to succeed overall.
Absolutely.
Yep.
So, but Lynette, now how do you handle your stress when he's doing these workouts? Because I know just from watching my kids, like the amount of stress and anxiety it causes me. So how do you keep yours in check?
I will let you tell me how stressed I look. I have a few like signature moves during the workout that I can't hold back. Like I go into this deep lunge that I'm just like as stretched out as I can. But like I know that whatever energy I put out is going to impact him. So I try to do my best at just kind of feeding that positivity and just, you know, all the stress and all the concerns that I have, I keep, you know, away, not hidden, but more truly to keep me from focusing on the negatives, you know? So I try to do a good job at that, but like, it's really, like my threshold, it's like kind of at its limits after the workout. I'm just like, okay, now I have to submit video, review the video, make sure everything is good. So I get pretty worked up about, you know, just making sure that things are done. And once they're done, I'm like, okay, I can breathe now.
Yeah. Like you got to be that focused on those little details because it's not just once the workout's over, it's not over.
No, that would be the worst part. Like if he does the work and somehow we miss something, and that's why, like, you know, you saw our media team. You know, all the people watching the phones, and we have cones so people don't accidentally walk in front of the camera. Or, you know, we have 2 clocks in frame. Like we try to really take every precaution. And like workout 1 was so hard to set up in our space it was. Like we had to take a portion of the rig down just so we could make it work. So it was one of those things where, you know, in your mind, I'm like, all right, I know the distance is going to be good, but the angle put us like totally against the wall. And so those things stress me out. Those are the things. It's like, seriously, CrossFit, like, come on, like give us a little bit more leeway because not every gym is laid out the same. So those are the things I get a little bit, you know, excited about. But you know, at like 3, 2, 1, go. I'm just like, well, I have a job to do, which is counting and making sure he's moving with, you know, the right standards, and I hold him accountable to those standards. But the rest is on him. And so, you know, I just kind of, you know, hope that he sticks to the plan or pivots when he needs to. And then it's just like, you know, in the moment, I really do try at some point, especially during that workout or the last one where he was rowing. I had time where I wasn't counting because the rower was counting. I just kind of looked around for a minute and I just said, like, man, soak this in. This is really cool. There's like a really like such a great thing happening in our community where people took time out of their day. Like the crowd wasn't as big on Sunday because people had been there once on Friday, 2 times on Saturday. And by Sunday, I think they were like, well, it's only 6 minutes. So we were doing like a Facebook Live. So people were watching remotely. But it was one of those things where, like, you know, take a second and have like a lot of gratitude to what's going on around you. And so I think
First of all, it was only 6 minutes for
Don't
Rudy.
say that.
Okay. I'm sorry. Yes.
Don't say that yet, Scott. Hold on. Well, no,
she already said the time.
I know. But no, I was curious because, so I know you said that he PR'd from his time and then he retested it in 2020.
Yes.
Right. So did you do the open in 2015?
I did.
His first.
Okay.
Yeah, that was my first open.
So how did you do on it in 2015?
In 2015, we were 4 months into CrossFit and I got 8:14. And so that was actually the
his
moment.
Best placement.
It was my best placement. 4 months into CrossFit. And I remember people were like, dude, that's something. Like that was the first time that like I heard from others like, oh, you're good.
But we were still doing CrossFit in running shoes.
Yeah. Like I
didn't have any CrossFit things.
Nike Airs and
right.
A 5K t-shirt.
Like, yes.
It was.
Yep.
It was.
I think I know lots of, I started that way too.
Yeah.
So you repeat it in 2020 and then what was your 637?
637. Yep.
637. Yep. And then, so what was your goal what was your goal coming into it on this last day after all these other workouts that were leg heavy?
Yeah. I mean, I wanted a PR, but what I did was, we're data driven. So I did the math on what I could get, like what pace should I be able to maintain on the rower, and what is my, normal cycle with a thruster. And I did the math, and I was like, well, Lynette, this is my goal. And she looked at the time and she's like, okay, that's going to be nasty. And, we hit it
counting
6.
those thrusters.
Basically, my goal was 6.
Yeah. Okay.
And we hit it.
Now, that is a fantastic time. I'm not taking anything away from that. But knowing that you were a runner before, how much did it take you off that it wasn't 5:59?
I rewatched the video several times. So I'm like, could it be? No, it's not.
Yeah. I know what that's like. Come on, like just under that. Yeah.
Break into that. Yeah.
Next time.
Yeah. And then it was
probably do it.
Here's what the amazing part was, Scott, and I'm sure because you've watched him do all the ones, but he does this amazing time in 6 minutes. By the way, that is twice as fast as it took me. And he's able to have a conversation afterwards. Like you were able to talk to us.
Yeah. It was only 6 minutes.
Still. But you said to me afterwards, you said that you had talked to Scott Panchik.
Yeah.
And that his time was like, it was 5:27 or something like that.
It was 5:53 from 2018. It was
2015, right?
Oh yeah, 2015.
Yeah.
So I did have that time in my mind also.
Yeah. Well, what I loved about that though was hearing you say, if 27-year-old Scott Panchik can do that, and 41-year-old Rudy can get 6, that's pretty good.
Yes.
Yeah, I was definitely happy with that score. When I saw that event get announced on Friday, I was like, yeah, we're saving that one for last. That one's going to be a good one.
Yeah.
Which if it was me doing the workout, I'd be like, can we just skip that one? Can we just let's not.
Yeah.
So I want to add to that did you save it for the end because you knew that was really, because I've seen you row. You are one of the best rowers I have ever seen in my life.
Thank you.
Like, so when that came out, like I knew that was your home run, right? Do you save that for the end because you know it and you don't want to leave anything in the tank, the weekend's over, and just be done?
Exactly. Yeah, it's like that final accumulation of everything coming together, last workout. I know that's my strength, and you can just on all these workouts, you empty the tank. Well, on that last one, and it's a strength, you have that confidence. It truly is empty the tank, and you just feel like, okay, the weight has been lifted off my shoulders, and I'm finished.
Yeah, and I think the other thing with that was workout 3 was such a kind of a long grinder.
Yes.
That it ending with that one for him as an athlete was not going to be the best choice. So I know that, he can execute on the rower pretty much no matter how his fatigue level is. So we just had to make sure those legs were as good as we could get them after those cramps to, put him in the best position to do that. But counting the first 27 thrusters, even I was tired after hitting 50. I'm like, oh my goodness, he has 12 to go.
Right.
So just like that.
Still counting.
Yeah, that's a long time.
Yeah. So Jamie jumps in and says, yeah, props to you for saving this for the end and PRing.
Thank you, Jamie.
Yeah.
And just on a personal note, so I was 43 when this happened. No, 45. And I was at the peak of my fitness when this open workout came out. I almost quit CrossFit that day. And I was a very good rower back then.
I feel
and after the 15 cal row, I walked towards the door. I was ready to go out. And then and I said, no, you can't quit on yourself. And I turned around and went back. But that's how much I hated this workout.
You ended up taking third on that workout.
Second.
Yes.
Second. Oh.
We removed some scores. Yeah, I think he got second. The guy in first beat him by 5 seconds.
Yeah.
So yeah.
One of the games competitors, Alexander Jolivet. Yeah.
Oh yeah. Okay.
I'll have to redo that one.
So how what does your training look like now getting ready for semis?
Yeah, so it kind of stays the same as far as our weekly schedule. And now we're just focusing on the movements that are expected in semifinals, like higher skill, and then movements that we didn't see in quarters. So yeah, that's kind of what we're incorporating. In semis we only have 3 real training weeks left, and then we'll kind of go into that final week before semi. So it's a short time period. So it's not a whole lot of time to get more fit. You just need to refine and sharpen your
stay healthy.
Stay healthy. That's number 1.
Yes, absolutely.
Did you try to peak for this at all, or is your peak for semis?
Peak is for the
the game.
She said
mini peak. No mini peaks.
We took it easy, like for a couple. Like I took a rest day before the actual event.
You did some.
She gave you a rest day.
He
Yes.
Yes. He did some mobility and seat or zone.
It was a zone 2. Yeah. So I guess it wasn't rest.
Yeah.
But yeah, we pull back for just a couple days just to make the body feel rested, but not a taper, like we've done before. Like the games, we actually do like a proper taper. But yeah, for the qualifying stuff, it's.
We'll definitely listen to the body, and if we need to pull back a little bit sooner to just get an extra recovery time there, we will.
And I think in general, like as a masters athlete, like we're doing this as a hobby, and so we still have to maintain the rest, the other stuff we do in our life. And so, I don't think I will bring my body to the wear and tear and just the volume of a games athlete to where that taper is that much more significant. So, with the masters, you can kind of keep things more maintained and steady.
Yeah, because you're not just an athlete, because you're dadding it, and you got to get to these kids' sporting events and things like that too, that are super important, and can't get that time back.
Yeah, exactly.
Did you dabble in or do any of the individual quarterfinal workouts?
Yes, we did versions of them.
Yeah, okay. There was one with a really, really heavy barbell that we kind of did a different version of. We did test some of them as is, and I liked them. I really did like the individual workouts. Yeah.
Were you disappointed that the age group didn't have the crossover?
No, I wasn't disappointed. No.
Okay.
We do practice them, and I have them down somewhat. I'm not super smooth yet. My son is actually better than I am at them, and so we're gonna probably practice those a bit. But I wouldn't be surprised if they show up in semis.
Yeah.
So how much does your son trash talk you over those?
Oh yeah.
It's a very
it's passive aggressive.
It's
like, don't worry, Dad, you'll get them. You'll get them, but watch me. Mom, can you video this?
Right. I love it.
He's like, how many can Daddy get?
Yeah.
And then he gets it like the first try. And I'm like, well, do what he's doing.
It's hilarious.
When Leah actually trains with him sometimes, especially when there's like handstand walking involved.
Oh yeah.
Because she pushes him.
Yeah.
So it's just really cool to see the two of them just get involved and get hyped up.
Yeah. I love that. Well, thank you guys so much for giving us your time tonight so that we could talk that through and just hear about it from your perspective. I'm so excited to see how the semis go and the games.
Thank you.
Yep.
So our listeners know we're going to keep following Rudy the whole way through the season. So we will be there with him for semis. Yep. Back to more of a documentary style than this. And then we'll probably debrief at the end of that a little bit for the end of the documentary. But you guys are awesome, and thank you so much for jumping on with us.
Thank you guys.
Thank you really for keeping an eye on masters athletes. They need it. They deserve it. They worked really hard So
They do.
I enjoyed watching some of the clips from Jamie's workouts. And we plan on catching up on the episode this weekend. So it's really cool to see
All right.
Masters athletes.
Well, thanks, guys.
Yes.
If you hold on just a minute, we'll close out the show and then we'll say goodbye.
Okay.